Red Hot Gotsy, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Ho ho ho! It's Christmas time. Red Hot Gotsy, come subscribe, like. Now, today I'm gonna be making a Spider-Man. It's kind of a Spider-Man No Way Home video, but also like more just a tier list on all three of the Spider-Man that we've seen in live action. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland. You already know. I'm just gonna be going over, which ones I think are the best, and just why, and the second best, and the third trashest. Not playing, but no, just the third best. So yeah, let's just get into it. Comment, subscribe, like. Let me know what you think. I really want to hear some of y'all, some of your thoughts and stuff like that. Give some support, so like it, subscribe if you want to see more of this content. And yeah, it's superhero stuff, some anime stuff I just got into. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm just gonna talk about Spider-Man as a whole and not Peter Parker. I'm gonna talk about both, and also the movies that they're in. So it's gonna be Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and then the movies in general and how they fit into them. So for first off, I would say Andrew Garfield, and a lot of people are gonna hate me for this, but I watched No Way Home and it really cemented my thoughts on this. Andrew Garfield is just the best actual like Spider-Man when he has the mask on. Now a lot of people have said this already, but some people are probably like, I don't know about that. I kind of like Tom Holland, or I think they're kind of confused on like Maguire's Spider-Man, just because they like the movies, or maybe they just like his Peter Parker. But let me just hear me out. I think Andrew Garfield just brings a different energy to the character, and he really just embodies what kind of brings this like quirky, fun-loving like kid, because he is like a younger character in the movie TASM, Amazing Spider-Man 2. He's like probably like what, 17 the first one, 17, 18, whatever. I think he's probably like 19, 20 in Amazing Spider-Man 2. So he's still like a younger kind of like, I guess you could say, kid. And he brings the energy that Spider-Man has, and he's very jokey, obviously, and he definitely is strong. Probably like the weakest of the three based on scaling that I've realized, but he did, dodge freaking lightning from Electro. So like, let's not call him weak now, because I don't think any of the other Spider-Man have done that. And even watching No Way Home, like, they're basically relative in terms of power, except for Tobey. I think Tobey might be the strongest, and they kind of like showed that in a way. But and I believe it, because based on scaling, again, he like pulled back an entire train. Tom Holland got hit by a train and almost died. That's kind of off the cuff. I really could go more in depth with it, but yeah, it's just like, also, yeah, if I really think about it, Tobey's Spider-Man got hit by a train and got right back up. So yeah, that's like direct scaling from the train fight in Spider-Man 2 and Far From Home. But I'm not. Let's get off that tangent. God, I can't speak today. But basically, I think overall, just Tom is fine. He's kind of like that mixture of like, yeah, he can joke around and stuff like that, and he definitely has that energetic feel, like a young kid, kind of thing. Definitely looks the role, and yeah, he acts the role. So that's why people say he's a good mixture of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I would put him like, I guess, number 2, because Tobey is just not very energetic in general, and that's why I'd say he's probably number 3 in terms of being Spider-Man in general. Now, everyone knows what I'm going to say when it comes to who's the best Peter Parker, and that's this next section. Now, obviously, it's Tobey. Most people would say it's Tobey, but I think it's Tobey because, he has that kind of nerd aspect, that awkward geek, who's not really an outcast, but, like, not everyone likes, they kind of treat him badly, and he's just, like, he's different from everyone else, but he's also really smart. I think they definitely captured that. I mean, one of the key feats that Spider-Man has is creating the web shooters, and they kind of not hinted at it, but talked about it in No Way Home. Oh, we have web shooters, and they come out of your wrist, the webs, and it's definitely a funny scene, but it definitely shows like the differences between all three Spider-Men. And I like that it's different though. It really shows like it doesn't matter what the differences are, but you can still be Spider-Man. That's like Spider-Verse in a way, you know what I mean? They kind of did that already, but I think that this really cements it. It really shows it in a different way because it's all Peter Parker. Um, but anyway, it's like I think Tom is probably number two for this because again, people say he's a good mixture of like Spider-Man and Peter Parker. I guess I agree because he definitely has that awkward kid feel to him. Definitely looks the part. Because everyone in that movie and Homecoming and like Far From Home definitely looks like a kid, and like they could definitely be in high school. So, and their actions are sort of robotic. They feel kind of like, oh, the plot needs me to act this way, so I'm going to. It kind of gives that vibe, but overall, I think they act like teenagers well enough to where I could believe a lot of the stuff that's happening. Um, and Toby just kind of like, even though he's an older Spider-Man, the reason he's number one is because I just feel like in terms of his life and what he has to go through and kind of just the awkwardness of trying to ask out a girl, but also just like not really being up for it, and when you do get the chance you kind of screw it up, and then you have a best friend who is cool and all, but you have problems with him. You have fights. Like in Spider-Man 2, he literally like slaps him like twice, because of the whole his father's dead and stuff, and he has to balance his life as Spider-Man, and it's really he struggles a lot as Peter Parker, and even as Spider-Man he struggles. That's why I'm like the struggle is real for this version of Peter Maguire's version, and like it really is pure and true to the character. I also like his scenes with Aunt May. It feels very grounded and like put in reality. Like you really get to relax and kind of just like uh, get like a different view of like Spider-Man as a whole when you hear Aunt May speaking about heroes and how much they're needed. Just being down here, not really like seeing everything go down like through Spider-Man's point of view. You just kind of like get to see how everyone else feels about the wall crawler. Like you have Jameson in these movies in the Raimi trilogy, and he's definitely like a more grounded character, obviously, because he has no powers or whatever, and he's hating on Spider-Man, always saying, oh, he's a menace and stuff like that. That's his interpretation. A lot of people take that point of view. Aunt May is like that spirit that like some people say like some sort of angel, you know what I mean, like or like a sage like character, like what I mean, like, and I really like that she is that sort of hope. Like she brung hope to Peter in Spider-Man 2. When he didn't have his powers, when he was down on his luck, and even for this version of Peter, like even when he wasn't Spider-Man anymore, he still wasn't like having everything just be completely easy, or at least specifically with MJ, which was his main goal. Okay, I know I did a lot of explaining for that, but basically, yeah, he's the best in terms of being Peter Parker. Now, for the third one is basically how they fit into the films. Now, I would say the three Raimi trilogy movies, Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, are the best in my opinion, or at least 3 is kind of questionable, because I like a lot of the stuff in it, and a lot of people like gloss over it because they look at the really bad stuff, like the dance scene and like Venom as a whole, and like how they kind of like stitched up and they like ripped apart and then stitched up, then ripped apart again and stitched it back together. Harry's story, even though it was set up perfectly in the first two films, I just don't like how it ended up. And I'm starting to actually kind of notice some logical fallacies with how it was even set up in the first place. Like Green Goblin's death just kind of being like glossed over, not really mentioned at all. Like in terms of like not the news, but like I don't know. Actually, I would really have to think about that. But overall, I just think that the Maguire series, Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, are just the best. And they're the most true to the character. Or if you don't want to say that, you say, oh, they're inaccurate as well. Well, I would say they have the best like quality of film, and just like are very consistent with each movie, in their build up and stuff like that. I'm just gonna say Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is like second in his two films, because I think he's the best Spider-Man, and obviously his Peter Parker is like, people say, oh, he's too cool, but honestly I think he's like pretty okay. I just think he's still like the number 3 in terms of Peter Parker's. Like he's just not the best, but he has like a realistic feel to him, but it's just like, yeah, I can see why people don't like him. And obviously Tom Holland's, because freak the MCU Spider-Man. I don't know. I'm probably gonna make another video about that, but yeah, it's just not for me. Yeah. So peace. So yeah, that's basically gonna be it for the video. But also, if you want me to do some, anime reviews or whatever the hell, like, give some, examples of some good anime in the comment section. Comment, subscribe, or just of anything really. So yeah, peace. I'll see you guys later. Yeah, Merry Christmas.
No way, Jose. Red Hot Gotsy, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.